Did you know that the alto saxophone is the #1 selling instrument in the entire world? Uh, I personally find that pretty cool, considering I've been playing the saxophone for a long time now. But because of this, I also believe that it is important to know the basics of cleaning and maintenance to an instrument. Many people play instruments, and brass instruments are chief among them. This is technically a wind instrument, but it's made of brass, so cleaning it will tie in the same to cleaning a brass instrument. It is at least nice to know the basics of instrument maintenance, and now I also sincerely hope I know what I'm doing here, because I have been doing this since 7th grade. So if I had no idea what I was doing, I don't really know how I would have gotten this far playing the saxophone. Today I'm going to cover how to do two main things: clean a saxophone and put it together properly. While doing this, I also plan on covering the main parts of an alto saxophone. And so before we can go into cleaning and how to put it together, it is important to know the main parts of saxophone. So the first and most important part of your alto saxophone is going to be your body. This is what's going to have all your keys, your bell, and everything else is going to be connected to this. This is the main part of your saxophone. But for the main purpose of cleaning, you don't really need the body too much. It's just a lot quicker than most of the other parts. Now here we have the mouthpiece and ligature. This is the ligature, this is the mouthpiece. The reed will go on the mouthpiece and the ligature will hold it. This is of course where you blow into and how you get sound to come out. Finally here we have the neck. The neck connects to the top of the main body of the saxophone right here. And at the end here has a cork where you'll put your mouthpiece on. And this also contains the octave key right here, which I believe is the most important key in a saxophone. That's just my personal opinion. Then finally, we have the neck strap. This is what's going to hold your saxophone to your body while you play it, because if you kind of didn't really have a neck strap and you had to hold it yourself, it'd be a pretty big nightmare in my opinion. Now that we've covered the main parts of a saxophone, the next step is how to clean. To begin your cleaning process, make sure to have a cloth, cork grease, and a cleaning swab. These are the three main things I use when cleaning typically. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my cloth and clean the main body of my saxophone. I like to start at the bottom of the bell here. You don't really need to go too deep into wiping it. Just try and clean off your finger stains and marks. The main reason you want to get the front here is because this is what most people are going to see when you're sitting down and playing. You're just going to want to get here. You don't want to go too deep into the bell here. You're just going to want to get the outside of it. And then you're going to move up here and start cleaning on the keys. The keys aren't the most important thing to clean. So you're just going to want to kind of get them like this, just little swabs here. And move it all the way up until you get to the top. It's not really too important to get the keys because they're going to get finger stains right away anyways. Next is how to put cork grease on your neck. So the reason we do this is because if you don't, putting your mouthpiece on is going to get really hard. So putting grease on it every few months makes it a lot easier. So this is pretty simple. You just take off your cap, kind of roll it up. It's just like chapstick. And you kind of rub it here on the end of the cork. You don't need too much, but don't try not to get too little. And then once you've done this, you're going to set your grease back down and try and put your mouthpiece on, just on and off. A couple times. I usually do it 3 times just to make sure it's all coated. And then now we can set this here. And finally, how to swab your saxophone. This is going to clean the inside of the main part right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your end cloth and swab right here. And you're going to want to hold your saxophone upside down for this, otherwise you're going to lose the string inside. You're going to want to push this in here. Hold on. This is, sorry. You're going to want to try and get this in here. Push it all the way through. This is a new cotton swab, so it's going to be kind of hard to get in for the first time. Just have to break it in. Okay, now that you've got it in, you want to push it down further, as far as you can, and then just try and pull it out here. It's going to get harder with every time. It's going to get easier every time you do it. You just do this a couple times. I usually do it 2 or 3 times to be safe. And yeah, that's how you swap. And now that I've covered cleaning, I'm going to go on to how to put together your saxophone. So typically, when you want to put it together, I start with putting on my neck strap, but for the purpose of visuals, I'm going to just not do that. But when you're doing it, you're going to want to wear your neck strap while putting it together. So the first thing we're going to do is take my reed, which I've had soaking in water. Normally, you're going to want to use your mouth while putting it together, but I don't think you guys would want to see me stand here with the reed in my mouth, so I had it in water. And you're going to take your mouthpiece, you're going to want to line it up to, you don't want to be flush with right here, you don't want it to be too over or too under. And once it's flush like this, you take your ligature, and then you slide it over. You don't want it to be too far down. I don't know how visible this is, there's just a little line typically on a mouthpiece, right by here. You want it to be just under that. And then once you have it on like this, you're going to want to turn these screws. You don't want them too tight, but you don't want them too light. You want it to be nice and snug so you can, it doesn't move, but it's holding it right. And then you take your mouthpiece and you connect it to your neck, right here on the cork. And then you take your neck, put it right here on the body of the saxophone like this. And then you take this screw right here. Once you have this lined up, I usually do it right here. And you're going to want to tighten it. And now I'm going to put on my neck strap. Then the neck strap here will have a clip, and each saxophone should have a little hook right about here. You take it, you clip this down, and you pull the hook through, and there you go. Now you have your saxophone put together, cleaned, and main parts known. Now that I've covered the main things I want to cover, I'm going to start moving over to my conclusion. Today I covered how to, the main parts of a saxophone, how to clean it, how to put it together. Instruments have been a very important part of history throughout time. They've been around for a long, long time. And some of the most prominent musicians played alto saxophones, and in my opinion, the best one is Charlie Parker, or the Bird. He's one of my favorite musicians, and I think one of the best in the world. And with that, thank you for listening to my speech.